our name-based puns. It's time for Is That Ridiculous? First up, if I said Cam Ward, week 1, #1 overall pick, is going to light up a very good Denver defense. Lewis, is that ridiculous?
As much as I love Cam Ward, yeah, that's a little ridiculous. Look, Vance Joseph has got the Denver Broncos defense humming right now. They can rush the passer. They got the best cover corner in the NFL. Cam is going to have a great season. He just is. Just let him have his growing pains. Let him crawl before he walks. Let him walk before he runs. But once he gets running, he will light some people up. But it's just not this week.
All right, so we start with a younger quarterback. Let's go to an older one. If I said Matthew Stafford is going to throw 3 touchdown passes in the opener against Houston, is that ridiculous?
Yeah, that's a little ridiculous. Look, the Houston Texans can rush the passer as well as anyone. They've got a bunch of dogs on that defense. We've been worrying about Matthew Stafford all preseason long as far as the status of his back. Has not played. Look, I think he's another guy. You're going to have to let him ease himself into it. He's right away stepping right into the fire going against the Houston Texans. 3 touchdowns, that's a little much. Yeah, I'll say that's ridiculous.
Okay, fair enough. And then last one, Sunday night, Ravens and Bills. If I said this is a preview of the AFC Championship game, would that be ridiculous?
No, that's not ridiculous at all. I could totally see that being the case here. Look, the AFC is loaded. We all know that. We know that it's nothing but heavyweight after heavyweight, and they're just going to absolutely bloody each other's nose all season long, and they're going to do it again in the playoffs. This is, though, I think one of these games where I think this will be a little bit of a precursor to how we think the season is going to go, and I think for Baltimore, and we'll get into this later on, this is huge as opening games go.
Don't do it later on.
Yeah, let's do it now. I forgot it was on the rundown right now, so let's just do it right now then. Yeah. Absolutely.
Why is this game so important to the Ravens?
I think from a mental standpoint, this team was devastated the way they lost to Buffalo last year. Devastated. I mean, from Mark Andrews to Lamar Jackson himself, the way in which they dropped the ball, literally, in that football game, I think has really weighed on this football team all offseason long. Because they know it just like we talk about it. They know they're the best roster in the NFL when you look at them 1 through 53. They have got nothing but playmakers and studs at every single position, and they fortified it this year. To come out of the gate and go to Buffalo, to the place where they lost, that was their last game of the season a year ago, and lose the opening game, I think would be devastating for them mentally.
Kmart is covering that game for us for ESPN and Sunday Countdown. Open up the book here. What are the storylines going into this one?
I think Lou hit it on the head from the standpoint of they're going back to the scene of the crime, essentially. After that Bills loss, Lamar talked about, like, I'm so sick of being right there and still not being able to punch the ticket. I think when you look at the Ravens, as good as the Eagles are, the Ravens are the only thing that can stop the Ravens. In the last couple of years, the Ravens have stopped themselves. So everybody talked, players talked about how Lamar Jackson kind of came in with a different, mentally he's in a different place. That those disappointing losses, he thought about them at probably every day because of the competitor he is, but he's being more vocal in practice. Now the goal is, hey, we know you can be the guy, but you got to make sure everybody is focused and locked in from jump.
I'm told Nick wants to jump in. Go, Dominique.
Oh, no, I mean, I just want to disagree just a little bit because I think the Ravens are, not that anyone's suggesting that they're not mentally tough, but they lost in the playoffs a year ago to the Chiefs and then came out the first game of the season last year and lost to the Chiefs. And guess what? They end up winning 12 games and were a dropped 2-point conversion away from getting closer to the AFC Championship game. So I think this game is hugely important for the Ravens, but for slightly different reasons. I'm not concerned about them going into some psychological hole. I think they'll bounce back from that. They have the pedigree to do so. But I do think that losing this game matters as far as home field advantage is concerned because the Bills have a much easier way to go in their division that's not nearly as competitive as the Ravens in their division is going to be.
I'm just going to say quickly, I think there's a cumulative effect of this, though.
Yeah.
The fact that they continue to get close, and they keep losing these big games.
Right.
And the players themselves are the ones who talk about the fact that, look, we're tired of this, as Kim just mentioned.
So the Ravens storyline is an easy one to understand. Peter, I feel like the storyline all summer has been, it's Josh's year.
This is it.
This is their year.
The torch has somehow been passed already, even though Mahomes beat him last year. But after winning an MVP, after getting married and having all the ballyhoo around that, and now with this talk of like, well, the Bills don't play anybody this year. They're going to be the 1 seed. They're going to have home field advantage. It just feels like the momentum has completely shifted from Kansas City at some point in the AFC to Buffalo. And now Buffalo has to actually go and do it.
Yeah.
So I look at it, this is Josh's time. He's knocked on the door enough. He's gone up against Mahomes in the playoffs enough. If ever there is a year for Buffalo to finally seize that crown, from Kansas City. It's this year, and if you start off losing,
Every year, I feel
I
like we
know
say that every year.
I know, but
is
this
the
year
moment,
feels like it
Josh.
because we saw KC lose the way they did to the Eagles,
Yeah.
and that almost felt like a chapter close. Louis Riddick, I like how you're getting fired up. Give it to me.
No,
this
no,
is how it
no,
feels. Just
no.
from our seat here in New
I'm
York
not-
City,
I'm not
like
gonna give it to you.
the Bills have already done it. They've already become. Now they're the 1 seed, and everyone's chasing Buffalo.
Having spent brief time in Buffalo, living there, seeing them over the years, Buffalo is at its best when nobody believes. And I think Sean McDermott still wants to create that narrative that we are the underdog in Buffalo, we're the small, nobody's given. And it's like, no, actually, everybody's saying you got the quarterback to do it.
Yeah.
To your point, Peter, when they seem to be underdogs, that's what they use. When they were losing, midway through the season, everybody's like, oh, the Bills are done, and they rattled off 8 games in a row, and I think they live in that spot. That's where they thrive. Now the pressure is on.
From a historical standpoint, as you begin this season, to me, the most interesting storyline is, can either Josh Allen or Lamar Jackson finally get that championship? Because both of them are in a position now to elevate from being all-time good quarterbacks, which is what they are, to becoming all-time greats.
Yeah.
All either of them needs is a championship, and now we put them in historical perspective with the greats of all time. They can't both win it this year. Maybe one of them finally gets it done.
Here's the most interesting thing. No, I wasn't going to give it to you.
You were.
I liked it.
A little bit.
But here's the thing, though. Kansas City's better this year than they were in that Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So I know people want to take the Kansas City Chiefs of the Super Bowl down in New Orleans and go and just take them and just pick them up and put them right here in Week 1. They're not the same team. They are. They will probably lose more games this year than they lost last year. But they're a better football team. That's a fact. And that's why I'd say, look, we can talk Buffalo and we can talk Baltimore and we can talk whatever team we want. And I agree that we should. Kansas City's going to be right there again.
The AFC runs through.
Right there
They don't
again.
have a big three. They have a huge three in
Yeah.
the AFC, right there. Those are 3 huge teams. KC always winds up on top. Will this be the year one of the contenders can finally knock them off? As we continue in just a moment, Jerry Jones not done talking about the Micah Parsons trade. Turn our attention to the NFL season, which kicks off tomorrow. I need opening statements. Schrager, what are we watching for Sunday night, Ravens and Bills?
Oh, it's Lamar and Josh Allen. They give it to us in Week 1, but I am looking at the Baltimore Ravens. They started off the season 0-2 last year, and they lost in Buffalo at the end in the playoffs in the divisional round, and Lamar did not play his best game. Can the Ravens start off the season with a statement win and show that they are truly going to be contenders to the Chiefs and Bills in the AFC this season?
Yeah, what you're seeing there, they lost that game to KC, that's one thing. They lost this game to the Raiders Week 2, and that may have haunted them the entirety of the year. Lewis, Friday night in Brazil, Chiefs-Chargers, what are you watching?
I'm watching pick number 32 of the 2025 draft. That being Josh Simmons, the starting tackle for the Kansas City Chiefs, who, quite honestly, Brett Veach, the general manager of the Chiefs, stole from the rest of the league, picking him that late in the first round, a guy who's probably going to be challenging for Pro Bowl berths this year, early in his career. He's got every tool imaginable. They are totally satisfied with the way he has looked in the preseason. They are ready to get it started and let him protect Patrick Mahomes' blindside.
Obrigado, which is thank you in Portuguese. Dominique, Cowboys, Eagles, tomorrow night, what are you watching for?
Yeah, I'm looking at the Eagles offense specifically. Last time they went to the Super Bowl and replaced their coordinators, their offense struggled early on, particularly with how to address the blitz. So I'm assuming with the Super Bowl championship under their belt and some more experience for their quarterback, they'll be comfortable, but adjusting to a new play caller and a little bit change in the play design, I think is something to watch for. I think they'll be fine, though.
All right, it's an interesting dynamic. Whenever a team wins a championship, they have a variety of options on how they choose to approach the following season. I want you to hear from both Nick Sirianni and A.J. Brown